The story from last night, the widow's Kaddish, was in two parts, and I sent a link to part one and part two. Most people did not notice the link to part two, which is very good because there were major problems with that video, technical problems that I didn't realize. So I'm going to re-record the part two of the story. If you haven't first listened to part one, please do that now. Or if you want to review part one, please do that now. And in any case, know that when you're watching part one, when it gets to 12 and a half minutes exactly, stop it and then come back here. We left where the bank manager was sitting together with the widow who had brought him the check for 20,000, brought the check of 20,000 krona, like $200,000 or so, to the bank to cash, and he had agreed that the bank would cash it, but that he couldn't do that until first his wife came. So he was there. He was sitting there with the widow and the two rabbi witnesses that she had told him about to the giving of the check to her from an old man. So he said, but he can't cash the check immediately because it needs his wife to come. That she has to also sign off on this. Now he had already sent for his wife, and that she should come as soon as possible because there are people waiting. But he told her, but when you come, make sure you bring all of the photos of the family members from the albums. So she did, and when she came, he excused himself to go into his office with his wife. He asked the widow and the two rabbis to remain in the room where they were, and he told his wife, it seems that the dream is really coming true, that it's for real. She said, really, if it's for real, if it really turns out that it's real, so then I'm going to convert to Judaism. She wasn't Jewish. She was married to a non-Jewish woman. He himself was a Jew. So he carefully spread out all of the photos of males in the family on the table, and he called in one by one the widow and each of the two rabbis, and each one immediately pointed to the same photo as identifying that's the man who gave the check. So then he called everybody in. So it was he and his wife and the two rabbis and of course the widow. And he said, this photo that you identified as the man that gave the check to this nice woman here, this is my father. He died 10 years ago. He was the manager of the bank before me, and this check is on our family account, and I recognized his signature right away. Last night he appeared to me in a dream, and said that you had never said Kaddish for me. He said to me, which was true. I never said Kaddish, and my soul was saved by this woman who arranged for a Kaddish to be said for those people who had nobody to say Kaddish for them. Now she's in great need, and I've given her a check for 20,000 krona, and you had better cash it or else. And he uttered some threats. The bank manager woke up. He said, when I woke up in the morning, I was very distressed by this dream, but it was difficult to take it seriously, and I told it to my wife, and she agreed with me. Well, a dream is a dream. But then when you came in and I was shown the check with my father's signature, so I knew it was really all true. It was very difficult for me to handle, but I realized it was all true. So I'm going to we're going to honor the check for 20,000 krona, and I'm going to give you another 20,000 krona from my own money, because you saved me from having not said Kaddish for my father. I see now it was wrong, my lapse from Judaism, and I want to return to the faith, and I want to live a life according to the Torah and mitzvot and the commandments. And my wife definitely wants to fulfill her commitment that she's going to convert if this is true. She says how great is the God of the Jewish people, and at that point he turned to the two rabbis and said to them, and I hope that that you too will help to guide us and teach us that we should know how to conduct ourselves properly as Torah observant Jews. And he gave her the money in cash, 40,000 kroner, like almost $500,000 worth, and she was able to use a significant part of it to restore her business, restore her failing business, and also to marry off her 5 daughters, including setting them up each with a place to live. But before she did any of those things, the first thing she did with the money was, as I hope you've anticipated, was she arranged to meet with the Rosh Yeshiva, and she gave him 10%. So